Before 2026 rolls in and steals the spotlight, let's talk about October 2025. October was one of my favorite months of the year. Well, maybe December will be better, but yeah. October showed up like a gift. It reminded me what it means to chase dreams, no matter how tiny or how huge they are. This month, I stepped into things I used to postpone, fear, or ignore, and everything changed.
Yeah, what's up, baby? Oh my god. Hi, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Oweno Michelle. I hail from Nairobi, Kenya. And if you love your crochet, your knitting, your crafting, then this is the channel to stick. You've been looking for me because I've been looking for you. And we've been looking for each other, baby.
Given that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I set out to create a piece of tapestry crochet wall hanging in celebration and memorial to all those who have lost to breast cancer, and just a way to encourage those who are going through treatment. Here is our frame. Since we're gonna frame it, first we need to measure it because this will determine the width and the height of what I'm gonna make it. Then I'll use stitch fiddle or stitch board wizard to create the pattern. I just need to get the perfect image. Then, because I like to edit my images and make it personal, my own, I will transfer that image to a graph, and then we'll start the tapestry crochet piece. So we need to measure it. We're measuring it. This is 13.5 by 18.6. Yeah, perfect. Also I'm gonna be using flowers. So these are some of the flowers that I started using, and by the way, I'm using a 3mm hook. I need to get another hook. Would you look at that? Let's get our craft paper. Yeah, I know I need a desk. This is 100 by 80. I think I'm gonna use this one. So next step, create the image. Our frame is 13.5 inches, and my swatch is 1 inch, 6 single crochet. I'm using single crochet, so this times this will be 81 stitches. So this is the stitches that I cast on, and then the rows we'll do the rows later. I have started shooting the female form. Where's the second page? Oh, okay. My progress. I just need to do this part, then we start. I haven't finished it yet, but time is running out. I want to finish this by Sunday, inshallah, because I have a dress to make for Halloween. Let me repeat that. Guys, I've done the math. 1 inch is equals to like 7 rows. And since our knee is 16.8 inches, it will be 130 rows. My image is 168 rows. So it means my image will not fit the frame. So we have a change of plans. We're not going to use the frame. But then again, I'm going to use that frame for something else. So it's okay. We'll just have to go the normal way. But still the plan goes. So I need to cast on. But now instead of 81 stitches, that was the initial plan, I'm going to do 100 to make it more wider, given that it's going to be taller. So let's do this. because I was making a custom-made blanket, of which I've made a video of. You can go check it out on my YouTube. I started this project in the middle of October, and given that I had the intent of making a dress for Halloween, not a costume, a dress for Halloween, I had to pause this project on and off. That's why I finished it off in the early days of November, but it whipped up so fast because the color changes and the design and the wall hanging was not large enough, or the design was not complex enough to make me slow down considerably. I love that I used black as the background color. It made the pink pop, and that was intentional because this was for in memoriam of all those people who have lost to breast cancer, and breast cancer ribbon is pink. I chose pink for this project. Also behind this project was the fact that we need to celebrate and give thanks for our bodies, especially the female form. This body changes so much in just a matter of days, let alone a month. So it was also in celebration of the wondrous female form. I wanted it to be 3D. Thus, the flowers that I showed in the start of this video. But as plans goes by, sometimes you make plans and they don't turn out the way you had imagined in your mind. So I decided for it to be just plain. Though I did add a few embellishments. I had this belly button piercing that I had a while ago, and I added it to the piece. October was also kind enough to give me a very fast art show. But before we even stepped into the art show, I just went and got a few more balls of yarn to finish off projects. So we went for the affordable art show at the National Museum. It's a biannual event that gives space to artists. Normally it takes place in May and October. So for my own curiosity and purpose of wanting to maybe be one of the artists in the future, I found out that there's a link that artists sign to. Then a month or so, you will get an email prompting you to prepare your piece to showcase for the submission. The most I've seen that artists can submit is 2 pieces per artist. And then during submission, you'll go with your work. You will have a deliberation with the judges. Is it judges? Or the members of the museum who are part of the affordable art show. You will set a price, and a percentage of that price will go back to the museum if your piece sells. I feel like that is a beautiful symbiotic relationship. The fact that these artists are given exposure, and some part of the money is used to take care of the National Museum. There was a lot of beauty and wonders. I would love to see more yarn art. This looks like a cover of a book. Oh my god. Got back home safely. Wanted to do a few lines before I started finally on the dress. I decided to do a bralette that has roses. I think I'm obsessed with the roses as bralettes. And this is where I started with. I decided to use some, is this ashy gray? No, this is stone gray with light blue or sky blue. You because the gray made the blue pop. I was just winging it, to be honest. If you asked me to sit down and write a pattern, I will tell you you're crazy, because now more than ever I realize that people are out here who give out free tutorials and write patterns are just angels, honestly, because creating a dress from scratch is one thing, writing a pattern is another. But I really loved the way I pushed myself. The idea was to have the bodice look like a corset, and in the back of my mind I wanted it to have a lot of texture. That's why we did the double crochet in reverse. You can see the texture pop against the rose. Then I added like a mesh in between the bralets for aeration purposes plus beauty purposes, right? Decoration and functionality together, because I realized that acrylic holds a lot of heat. So when you wear a dress during summer, our kind of summer, it can really be stifling. So yeah, at this point we were like 5 days before 31st October. Creatives, am I the only person who sometimes dilly-dallies with an unfinished project? Then the last minute, it's when I'm rushing to do this, because I feel like in 2026 I should do better. I should do better as a creative. So in the midst of making this dress to wear on Halloween, one of my favorite poetry artists, Goofy, was doing a live poetry event for his 4th album, The Kids Are Alive. I love everything about that album. It's just heartbreaking, and then at the same time it's healing. I decided, why not use this dress as a manifesting piece of art, because I really wanted to experience this show in real life. It would have been my first poetry show, or rather it was my first poetry show. So at this point I'm working on the bodice. I decided to use HTC in the 3rd loop to create these ridges. Again, I wanted the dress to have a lot of texture, so I just had to write a few things down. Please do not ask me why I had to do this, make this bodice plus the bralette this way. If I had known that I would have to sew this and this seam will have a bit of distortion, I wouldn't have gone this way. Let it be known that this is the first time I'm making a crochet dress from start to finish. And then for the skirt part, I decided to do an open shell. And at this point I was so happy that this thing that I had imagined was live. Of course I had to add a few rows because this is something I wanted to wear out in public. And at this point, this is actually 1st November, I rushed that dress. I would love to add a few more rows to the length, and I wore it with stockings and boots, and it was just perfect, because when I went to Nairobi, I live in Machakos County technically, but it's a border of Nairobi. It was raining, and I'm glad that I carried a scarf. I wore boots and stockings and leather jackets. So we are live at the event. It was such an awesome experience. It was healing, uplifting. I got to chat with a number of you amazing people who just made me realize why I love art and poetry.
And I tried to love her, not just in the silence at midnight, or in the way our hands touched after every high five, my fingers lingering like a question waiting for an answer. I poured my love into the cracks of her heart, only to be slapped with a dowry list that felt like
Hey, soft soul girl. It's been a while since we got to run things back. So why don't you come over and Be my girl. Feel my love. My poems, they wanna date your heart. I be your man. Take it slow with the rhythm. What is left to do? To show left is crazy. Nakupenda, but my friends this is. You say you have cried about it, and it's all. But I don't like how you look at me. It's as if you hate me, but you don't know how to state it. So I'll say this. I hate how you move when around me. Nothing about you is exciting. Your breathing irritates me. Your presence makes me numb.
After that amazing healing experience, I am back home ready to tackle this wall hanging. Normally, I usually cut branches for the dowel. I have to cut it in advance and let it dry. And this is exactly what I was doing over here. You need it dry so that when you hang your wall hangings, it doesn't shrink or break.
And you can only go in as comfortable as people make you feel. So I'm gonna have butterflies, I'm gonna be jittery until I see you.
Supposed to be this big, but technically she is finished. Now we just need to add the dowel when it's done.
And in all her majestic glory, here we have it. Here we have her. Isn't she gorgeous? Why am I not smiling? But we're twirling. That's a smile! This was the first piece I finished for my tapestry crochet patchwork blanket. Then I had so much fun designing and executing this one for a client. I made this wall hanging for my nephew who was sitting for his grade 6 exam, and finally finished this granny square blanket that I'm deeply in love with. And then these last two pieces, 90% or 95% of the work I did in October, so I finished in November, right? I need to add pads on this dress, which I truly am deeply in love with. I winged it, so maybe just maybe one day I'll recreate this and maybe make a tutorial. Maybe. Tutorials are a whole other mad respect to anyone who does tutorials and shares with the whole world. And then this final piece, I made it in the spirit of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and a way to remind myself to be grateful for this body and to love it deeply and truly.
Obviously, this wouldn't have been a milestone if I hadn't made a TikTok or an IG reel of me dancing in the dress. If you've watched this vlog up to this point, thank you so much for being part of this October adventures. I hope you'll join me for more. And until our next video, bye!
seat at the table. Let me be the judge. Ready, sing it.